live should be there. Like,
yeah, okay.
YouTube live வந்துருந்தா கார்த்திக் லிங்க் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கோ.
So shall we start?
yeah, we can start.
Okay.
We can start.
Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Srikanto Matulo Yasya Janani Sarvamangala Janaka Shankaro Devaha Sambande Kunjarananam Srirama Saumitri Jatayuveda Shadananaditya Pujarchitaya Srinilakantaya Dayamayaya Sri Vaidyanathaya Namah Shivaya Namo Devyai Mahadevyai Shivayai Satatam Namaha Nama Prakrityai Bhadrayai Niyata Pranatasmatam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Nama Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Sri Mahatripura Sundaryai Jaya Jaya. By the boundless grace of Sri Periyawal, we are entering into the third day of the present series of Upanyasams on common dharmas. In the first two lectures, we have looked at a general introduction to 14 Vidyasthanas, Vedas, Dharmashastras, etc. The basic understanding of what dharma is and what are common dharmas and what are special or unique varnashrama dharmas. Now, out of common dharmas, we have covered two so far, dhriti and dama. Dhriti is steadfastness, dama is control of sense organs. Dhritihi kshama damosteyam shauchamendriya nigraha dhir vidya satyamakrodho dashakam dharma lakshanam. So we have seen dhriti, kshama and dama. Now asteyam, we had just started. Asteyam is non-stealing, we saw, and it does not stop with just not appropriating somebody else's property. Not only that, it is much more than that. It is abstention from unlawful gain and non-covetousness beyond one's basic needs. And we found some references from various texts in this context. Now, asteyam is strengthened by charity. By charity, we have a great benefit, and that is what happens to ahankara and mamakara. Ahankara and mamakara are at the root of all problems in life. Ahankara and mamakara are the basic obstacles in our onward progress in the spiritual plane, in our journey towards moksha. Ahankara and mamakara, the sense of I and the sense of mine. I, of course, refers to the mind, the internal organs, the external sense organs, the body, etc. Sense of I. And sense of mind refers to whatever we consider as ours. It may be house, it may be wife, it may be children, it may be property, it may be anything. Whatever you consider as yours comes under this mamakara. Mama means mine. So, if you want to strike at these two, ahankara and mamakara, charity is the best instrument. That is what Shastra says, born out of experience over several centuries. This tattva has been proved beyond doubt. Now, Shastra, what it says is, there is no bar on earning. You can earn as much as you like, but you should not keep with you. That is what it says. You should spend whatever you have in excess for the welfare of the society, for the welfare of others, for the welfare of the poor, the downtrodden, and so on. Now, for this, they have categorized the charity into two categories. One is called Ishtadharma, another is called Purtadharma. Ishtadharma is, both are public facilities. Both Ishtadharma and Purtadharma are meant for public welfare, public facilities. Now, Ishtadharma is conducting Vedic rituals, etc., for the public welfare, Veda Parayana, Puja, Homa, etc., for public welfare. That is Ishta. Purta Dharma is mundane needs of the public being met, like a pond, like a road, like a hospital, even a temple. Even a temple comes under Purta Dharma. The puja done inside the temple comes under Ishta Dharma. That is a very interesting thing. That is why whenever we seek funds for construction of a temple, we always tell the donors, you are not only contributing to Ishta Dharma, you are also contributing to Purta Dharma. Because Purta Dharma is construction of the temple and Ishta Dharma is what is going to follow, the pujas, etc. inside the temple. Now, this is defined very nicely in Atri Samhita. What is Ishta and what is Purta? Agnihotram tapas satyam vedanam chanupalanam atithyam vaishwadevascha ishtamitya vidiyate. These are the Ishta Dharmas. Agnihotram, tapas, satyam, vedanam cha anupalanam, protection of Vedas, atithyam, public hospitality, Vaishwadev, again, another Vedic ritual, Ishtami, which we are supposed to do every day. Vaishwadeva is one of the daily rituals supposed to be performed every day. Ishtamitya vidiyate. What is Purta, he says? Vapi kopatata kadi devatāyatanāni ca anna pradhanamārāmaha Purtamitya vidiyate. Vapi kopatataga. These are various types of water reservoirs, small, big, etc. Devatāyatanāni, abodes of gods, temples. Anna pradhana, annadana kota. Ārāmaha, that is gardens. Gardens where flowers are cultivated for worship, etc. This is Purta Dharma. So if you spend your money, if you spend your excess resources on Ishta Dharma and Purta Dharma, slowly you are striking at the root of your ahankara and mamakara. You are also helping the public and you are going ahead on the path of asteyam. Now, Manu praises Dhanam like this. Tapah param krita yuge tretayam jnanamuchyate dvapare yajnamevahuhu dhanamekam kalau yuge. In Krita Yuga, Tapa was considered the best. Tretayam jnanamuchyate. In Treta, acquisition of jnana through various sources. Dvapare yajnamevahuhu. In Dvapara it is yajna. Of course, there are slightly different versions here. Treta, some people say it's yajna, and Dvapara they say temple worship, but that's a technical difference. Dhanamekam kalau yuge. In Kali Yuga, there is no different version. Dhanamekam, only Dhana. because you are not able to do tapas. Because for doing tapas, you have to have your mind under complete control, which is not possible. Now, for doing yajna, as laid down in Vedas, you need a lot of dravyas, materials which are supposed to be pure. You cannot get even pure milk nowadays. And the purity of the brahmanas, everything is in question. So, yajnas as per strict rules, not possible. Temple worship, same again. Worship in temples exactly as per what the Agama Shastra says or the Vedic procedures stipulate. It's not possible. So, Dhanam ekam kalau yuge. If you do Dhanam, that is the best source of cleaning, samskara, cleaning yourself. Dana dharmam nisheveta nityam aishtika paurtikam. Nityam, he says. Every day you should do aishtikam paurtikam. Ishtadharma, purtadharma. That is what he says. Paritrushte bhavene patramasadhya shaktitaha. How should you do? Not because Shastra says Manu has laid down. No. You should do it on your own with great joy. Paritrushte bhavene. With great satisfaction that we are doing a great duty. Not because we want to serve, not a spirit of service. That is in fact not as superior as saying that I am doing it as my duty. Paritrushte bhavene patramasadhya shaktitaha. Shaktitaha, he says. Yatha shakti. As per your capacity. Nobody is asking you to do dhanam beyond your capacity. Shaktitaha patramasadhya. That is very important. Dhanam to be given to a satpatram. That is very important. You give money to anybody, you give materials to anybody, that is not dhanam. In fact, strictly speaking, dhanam has to be given according to Vedic procedures, with chant of Vedic mantras in a particular manner, as laid down. Then only it is called proper dhanam. And that is to be given to a good patra. Desha Kala Patra for Dhanam. This is laid down in even Bhagavad Gita also. Deshe Kalecha Patrecha. While commenting on Desha, Adi Shankara in his Bhashyam says, Kshetras like Kurukshetra. That is Desha, he says. So if you do your Dhanam in sacred places, that is all the more meritorious. Similarly, Kala. If you do it on certain Punya Kalas, like Grahana Kala, eclipse, and so on. Mahodaya Kala, Ardhodaya Kala, so many such occasions are specified. They say Kalecha Patrecha, and you should give it to a right patra, right person. So if you do that, he says it will cleanse your heart. With a cleansed heart, you are able to proceed further on your spiritual path. Now, this Ishtadharma and Purtadharma are mentioned repeatedly in our Puranas in various contexts. Because this is the only means of developing our asteyam. We started with asteyam, abstention from unlawful gain. That is one thing. That is in our hands. From where we get our resources, we have to be very careful. Dravya Shuddhi, it is very important. Then, whatever we have got, what do we do with it? How to dispose it? Don't spend everything on yourself. Restrict it to basic needs and spend on dhanam. That is how asteyam is built. Now, if you look at Skanda Puranam, the first asura which whom Subramanya encountered was Tarakasura. Later on, he goes to battle with Shurapadma in the south. Tarakasura was in the north, near Himalayas. Now, on the battlefield, Tarakasura asked Subramanya, you are the son of Shiva, you are as good as Shiva, and we have no enmity with Shiva. Why are you coming and fighting with me? This is his question. That is, there is no enmity between you and me. Where is the question of fighting? That was his question. Now he answers. Subramanya is giving this answer. Yuyam cha bahudha loke dushkritya nirata sada. You asuras are known for evil deeds. Dushkritya nirataha. You are always keen on doing evil deeds only. Sada. Pranipeda para nityam. Ishtapurta vinindakaha. Pranipeda para. You are always harming all living beings. Actually, they were harming all sadhus, rishis, and so on. Now here he says pranipeda, all living beings. Because if you harm sadhus, you are actually harming the entire world. Because sadhu is the basic structure of the world system. Ishtapurta vinindakaha. Now here comes Ishtapurta, Ishtadharma and Purta Dharma. You are harming the performance of Ishtadharma and Purta Dharma. Ishtapurta vinindakaha. You are coming in the way of Ishtadharma and Purta Dharma. Now, along with the other adharma which he is listing, Dushkritya, Pranipeda, etc., he is now listing Ishtapurta Vininda. Now, this spirit of Dhanam is generosity we find in several places. If you take Ramayana, Rama gives the kingdom of Kishkindha to Sugriva. There was no need, he could have kept it with himself. Similarly, he gives the kingdom of Lanka to Vibhishana. Again, there was no need. To fight with Ravana and kill him was a necessity. To take the help of Sugriva was a necessity. But to kill Vali was a promise made to Sugriva. But there is no need that the kingdom should be given to Sugriva. He could have said, you are my representative, you stay here. I will be the emperor. He didn't do that. Sugriva Pattabhishekam is celebrated in Ramayana. Similarly, Vibhishana Pattabhishekam is celebrated long before Ravana was killed. Long before Ravana was killed, Sugriva Pattabhishekam and Vibhishana Pattabhishekam are done. Vibhishana Pattabhishekam in a, what should I say, in a simple manner, in an indicative manner was done before Ravana's killing. After Ravana's killing, it was done properly in Lanka. Now, we find many such examples in Puranas as well as in recent years. We all know about Shibi, Emperor Shibi. He cut his own flesh for the sake of a bird, for justice. For the sake of justice, he cut his own flesh and put it on the weighing balance. Now, who will do that? The story of Emperor Dilip is very interesting. It comes in Raghuvamsham. Dilip was one of the forefathers of Rama in the Solar dynasty, Ikshvaku dynasty. And Dilip had no progeny for many years. So he went to Vasishtha. And what Vasishtha said was, he took a few minutes, employed his Jnana Drishti. He found why Dilip did not have a progeny. He said, during one of your several trips to Swarga, because in those days, all the kings in Solar dynasty were frequently visiting Swarga, that was possible, including Dasharatha. They used to go to Swarga, help Devendra in the battles with Asuras. This was common for the Solar dynasty kings. So Dilip had in one of the trips to Swargaloka, what did he do? While returning from Swargaloka, he saw Kamadhenu. Now, instead of going round, in fact, even on the road, if we see a cow, we are supposed to go around and offer our respects to the cow. That is basic requirement. Now, Kamadhenu he saw in Swarga. He ignored Kamadhenu. He did not bother about Kamadhenu. He went his way. So Kamadhenu cursed him that you will not get your progeny. This is how Vasishtha found. Vasishtha told him, so what should I do now? I didn't do it intentionally, but maybe it has happened. Now it's a mistake. Now I have to rectify. What should I do? Yes, I will tell you how you will rectify. Now Kamadhenu's daughter Nandini is with me, that cow. You take this cow to the forest and attend to the cow along with your wife Sutikshna for 21 days. This is something like a vrata. That is, he left all his royal duties, royal paraphernalia. He became a cow herd. The emperor became a cow herd. This is described very nicely in Raghuvamsham. He, along with his wife, like a cowherd and his wife, they took Nandini to the forest every day. They allowed the cow to graze and so on, and then they came in the evening to the ashram. They stayed in the ashram. 21 days they stayed with Vasishtha. And last day, 21st day, what happened was, that's how it happens, isn't it? Usually, the climax is built. Well, after all, Dilip's sincerity, Dilip's devotion has to be tested and shown to us. People, normal people, should know who Dilip was. So on the 21st day, what happened was, when he took the cow Nandini deep inside the forest, a lion came all of a sudden and was about to pounce on Nandini. Now, this Dilip was about to dispatch an arrow towards the lion. Then lion spoke in a human voice. Lion said, "Don't kill me, you give Nandini to me. That is all I want. Don't kill me, you give Nandini to me. You cannot kill me also, I can kill you. But I don't want to kill you, you give Nandini to me." He spoke in human voice. This emperor was surprised, Dilip. So Dilip, what he did, he said, no, I cannot give Nandini. In fact, Nandini is not my property, first of all. Nandini is my guru's property. And she is under my care. So I cannot do anything which will put her life in danger. I cannot do that. Now this argument went on. No, she said, I don't care. Lion said, I don't care for what your promise is to somebody else. I want Nandini. So she was about to pounce upon Nandini. Then finally what Dilip said was, you want food. Whether it is Nandini or somebody else is not important for you. You take me as your food. You take me as your food and then allow Nandini to live. Lion said, no, I want Nandini only. Then he said, no, you are unnecessarily adamant. You are unnecessarily adamant. Don't be adamant. And he bent his head down and he was waiting for the lion to pounce on him and eat him. This is the scenery. Now suddenly he found the lion did not come anywhere near him. Everything was at a standstill. Then he lifted his head and he saw Yamadharmaraja standing there where lion was. Yama had come to test him and Yama was very pleased. And he said, now you can go, you will get progeny. Yama also gave his blessing. So they came home. So here it shows, for the sake of a cow, the emperor of Ayodhya was willing to sacrifice his own life. Now, Asteyam at its peak, at its pinnacle, here we see. Now, there are many examples in current history also. There is the story of Samartha Ramadas and Shivaji. Samartha Ramadas was the guru of Shivaji, and during Shivaji's time, he had a lot of fights with the Mughals. And he used to retrieve a lot of territory which was occupied by Mughals. Every day he used to go with his army. He used to fight and bring territories under his control. Now, every day he used to meet his guru, Samartha Ramadas, and he used to say, here is the territory which I have acquired today. I am laying at your feet. Now you are the king. I am only your servant. This was his bhava, This was his bhava. This is how he spoke to his guru. And every day, Samartha Ramadas said, what I'm a saint. What am I going to do with your piece of land? Take it back. So every day this was happening. Every day he was bringing land under his control. Every day he was offering to his guru, and every day the guru was returning. In fact, this we find even in yajnas performed by kings, even in Ramayana, even in Raghuvamsha. A lot of yajnas are performed. Vishwajit yajna and so on. Ashwamedha yajna and so on. Now there, at the close of the yajna, you will find that the king gives him dhanam, all the territory, entire kingdom. The Raghuvamsha describes it. The kingdom to the part of the kingdom toward the east, he gives to Vasishtha. The part of the kingdom toward the west, he gives to somebody else. To the south, to the north, like this. And then he asks those recipients, those saints, in turn, to distribute those lands among his Shishyas, among the other rishis. This is how it is described. All of them receive the land as part of the dana procedure. They don't say no. All of them they receive. So they become the owners of the land, and the king becomes a pauper. At the end of the yajna, king becomes a pauper. He has nothing left with him. In fact, this is exactly the situation which Vishwamitra uses to his advantage in his fight with Harishchandra. If you look at the Harishchandra story, this is what he does. Now, whatever was offered like this, he took with himself and he made Harishchandra a real pauper. And that is part of the story. Now, here, all the saints, Vasishtha and others, normally, what do? They return the kingdom. What do we do with kingdom? We don't need land. We don't need. We only need, if you gold coin, we need cows. That's all we need. Give cows, give gold coins. So this was the practice in those days. And the same thing Shivaji was practicing in his days. Now, coming to more recent times, we find Govinda Dikshita, who was in Kumbakonam. He was the minister to the Chola king. And he was a great saint, a great Vaidika, Shastrajna, great scholar, great administrator. Now, his Ishtapurta dharmas knew no bounds. He developed his kingdom very beautifully, extremely well, in the interest of the subjects. He never kept anything for himself, though he occupied the high position of a minister. He led a very simple Brahmana life, very simple. In fact, the images of him and his wife are found in the temple in Kumbakonam even today. And you find a lot of villages, a lot of roads named after him. He was known as Ayyan in those days, Ayyan Kulam, etc., etc. Ayyam Pettai, and so on, Ayyan Street, and so on. All of them are named after same Govinda Dikshita. Now, if you read Govinda Dikshita's story, there's a very interesting thing. Now, he did so much of Ishtadharma and Purta Dharma. All the money which he earned as a minister, he spent on public welfare. This Mahamaha tank in Kumbakonam was done by him. Like this, many times, many places in Tanjavur district and around. Now, one day he found that his servant, I forget his name, I think his name was Shamba, he had already died. The Shamba had already died. This Govinda Dikshita was walking on the banks of Kaveri in Kumbakonam. He found Shamba coming in front. He was surprised. How did this dead man come here? Then Shamba came and told him, yes, I am a dead man, but now I am an emissary of Yama. And normally we are not visible to humans, but I am making myself visible to you because of my loyalty to you, because I have been your servant and you are such a great man. Now I want to tell you something in secret which I am not supposed to tell you. This is Deva Rahasya. What did he say, you know? You are a great man. Your fame is sung in Yama's assembly every day. Every day there is a talk about you in Yama's assembly. Govinda Dikshita, great man, great man. He has done this, he has done that, this dharma, that dharma, and so on. But when all the songs of praise are chanted in front of Yama, Yama finally says, all that you said is absolutely correct. He is a great man, he has done everything. But he has missed one Purta Dharma. Unfortunately, that is what makes his entitlement to Swarga deficient. I wish he realizes that he fulfills the deficiency. This is Yama's wish. This he expressed. Now the Shamba was overhearing that because he is standing there. Now Shamba is coming and telling in secret This is what Yama is telling. You know what that single deficiency is? You have not done Purta Dharma in respect of gardens. You have not developed any garden, flower garden, where flowers can be grown for offering to Shiva and other gods. You have built so many temples, you have built so many tanks, you have built so many roads, water supply points, so many things, Annadana quotas, so many things you have done. But you have not done this simple thing. Then he realized, yes, what you say is correct. I never realized it. Immediately, that day, he started on doing construction of the erection of these gardens. This is the story of Govinda Dikshita. Now, we have been referring to Atma Gunas, 8 Atma Gunas, along with these common dharmas. Now we are on the subject of Asteyam. Now, Asteyam is connected with which Atma Guna? If you see, there are 2 Atma Gunas which are connected with this. One is Aspriha, another is Akarpanya. These are listed as Atma Gunas. Aspriha means extreme desire. Extreme desire. Aspriha is absence of extreme desire. Karpanya is miserliness, and Akarpanya is absence of miserliness. That is generosity. Now, Asteyam is connected with these 2. Next comes Shaucham. Next in the list of common dharmas is Shaucham. Shaucham is purity. Now, purity is very difficult to define. Other common dharmas we are able to define in some form or the other. Now, what is called purity for a human being? Now, purity is defined in 2 ways. One is the bodily purity. The second is the purity of the mind. Bhashya Shaucham, Antarika Shaucham, external and internal. Purity in thought, word, and deed. That is how it is defined. Now, what is purity in thought? What is purity in word? What is purity in deed? It's very difficult to define. Now, it is defined by a series of characteristics. It says, but it of course starts with cleanliness because that is the direct meaning of Shaucham. Shaucham means cleanliness. Straightforwardness, that is called Arjavam in Sanskrit. Straightforwardness, integrity. Frankness. Don't keep something in mind and say something else. Frankness. Innocence. Be innocent. Don't be cunning. Freedom from envy, freedom from pride, freedom from malice. These are all requirements of purity. Now, if you have any of these ills, you cannot claim purity. So, purity is a very complex requirement, as we have seen. Shastras talk about, first they talk about bodily purity. Bodily purity, as we all think, is achieved by taking a bath. This is correct. Of course, there are various types of baths mentioned in Shastra. We will not go into that because bath with water is very good, recommended in Shastras, and we are all used to that. There are other baths prescribed in Shastras like bath with bhasma, vibhuti, bath with sand, and so on. Now, they are all only under specific situations, under specific conditions. So, we will not go into that. That is all mentioned in Shastras. Now, that is regular bath. Bath is, of course, supposed to be taken thrice a day normally, but taking once a day is not objected in Shastra. You can do Achamanam on other occasions and purify yourself. Achamanam is a purifying ritual. Now, when you visit the toilet, you are supposed to wash your hands and feet, mouth, hands, feet, and mouth. That normally everybody is supposed to follow. But the trouble is, it's not just hands and feet and mouth. This Western urinal, which men use, is totally prohibited in Shastras. Because when you visit the toilet, you are supposed to clean your private parts with water, with soil. This is specified. How many times you should use those materials when you pass urine, when you pass stools, all these are mentioned. I mean, this may be this may look like a very unnecessary detail. It is not, because Shastra is very clear. In fact, there is a Veda Dharma Shastra Paripalana Sabha used to print and distribute a lot of leaflets in earlier times in Tamil. And later on, as instructed by our Acharya, I translated quite a few of them into English. And one of them is on Shaucham. And this English translation is available in our Kanchi website, www.kamakoti.org, as you all know, is the official website of our Srimatham. And the Shaucham paper, Veda Dharma Shastra leaflet, is there in English. There it clearly tells you what you should do whenever you visit the toilet. So the Western type of urinal is a complete misnomer of Shaucham. There is no Shaucham there. The complete absence of Shaucham. Unfortunately, it has come into India in a big way, along with the Westerners, and it has become a very common thing, particularly in public buildings, offices and so on, cinema halls and so on. In fact, when I attended a temple committee meeting, a new temple being constructed, being planned, being designed, at that time I said, no urinals here. Then they said, no, the Bombay municipal regulations require, if so many people are going to come to the temple, if the expected strength is say 500, you should have so many WCs, so many urinals, etc. Per 100, you should have so many. This is the basic stipulation. You can't say you don't want it. This is what I was told. Then I had nothing to say. Then I said, okay, you construct the urinals, but later on, once you get the OC, occupation certificate from the municipality, you simply demolish the urinals and convert them into WCs. This is what I had told them. So this is the extent of our degeneration when it comes to observance of Shastra requirements. This is the extent of degeneration. That urinals have become a must. You go to any music hall, any hall, you find a set of urinals. Now, I am going into so much detail because it is a great aberration. It should be stopped. Nobody should use a urinal if you believe in Shastra. Because purity of body is ensured only by application of soil and water, according to Shastra. Now, soil, of course, we have stopped using. At least water we have to use. Now, Chanakya describes this Shaucham in a very nice way. He says, Vacham Shaucham cha manasas Shaucham indriya nigraha sarvabhuta daya Shaucham etat Shaucham pararthanam. Vacham Shaucham, purity in words. Manasas Shaucham, purity of mind. Indriya nigraha, control of sense organs. Sarvabhuta daya, compassion with all living beings. Shaucham, etat Shaucham pararthinam. This is the purity which will take you forward on your spiritual path. This is what he says, Chanakya. Now, we have been talking about Shaucham, purity. Now, if you want to single out a particular Shaucham as the most important Shaucham, you tell me one Shaucham which is the most important. Then Shastra says Artha Shaucham or Dravya Shaucham is most important. Purity of wealth, purity of materials. Materials you acquire by spending money, isn't it? And that money you have acquired by some means, by offering your service, etc., etc. Now, whether you have acquired the money the right way, the legal way, the moral way, that is the question. If the answer is yes, then your Dravya is correct. Shaucham, the requirement of Shaucham is maintained. So, Dravya Shaucham is very important. Now, there is a very interesting reference to Shaucham in Devi Bhagavatam. Now, Devi Bhagavatam recounts a story where the great Rishi Chavana was bathing in the river Godavari one day, and then suddenly he found that he was caught by a serpent, a snake. His legs were caught by a serpent. He could not move. He could not do anything. He prayed to Vishnu immediately. And Vishnu saw to it that the poison from the serpent did not enter into his body, but the serpent would not leave him. This is how it happened. The serpent dragged him to Patala. And Patala at that time the king was Prahlada. The king in Patala was Prahlada. This is after Hiranyakashipu's time. When Indra was restored to his place, Patala was given to Prahlada, because Asuras are supposed to live in Patala Loka and Devas are supposed to live in Surga, and humans are supposed to live on earth. This is the divine system. So as per the system, Prahlada was made the king of Patala Loka. Now, when Shavana was dragged to Patala Loka, immediately the spies in Patala immediately went and told the king, there is somebody from somewhere, maybe from earth. A new person has come. Then immediately Prahlada thought maybe Indra has sent some spy in human form for troubling us. So he said, you bind him and bring him before me. So they bound the Rishi, brought him before Prahlada. Then Prahlada asked, who are you? Are you a spy of Indra? Then he said, no, I am a devotee of Vishnu as much as you are. Then he introduced himself. Then Prahlada felt very bad, fell at his feet and sought his pardon and so on. Now, when two bhaktas talk, what do they talk about? Here, Devi Bhagavatam describes this, how satsangam develops. Immediately, Prahlada struck a conversation with him. He said, you are coming from earth, from the Punyakshetra, Godavari, Nadi, and you tell about all the Punyakshetras in Bharata Desha. Then he started recounting. The first Punyakshetra is Naimisharanya, and so on, Pushkara, and like this he went on describing those tirthas. At that time, Shavana mentions a very beautiful statement. He gives a statement about Tirthayatra. People go on Tirthayatra, but they forget one basic thing, he says, and they don't reap the benefit of Tirthayatra. What is that they lose? What is that they ignore? Dravya Shuddhi, Ahara Shuddhi, and Manas Shuddhi. These three are important when you go on Tirthayatra, he says. The money that you are spending on Tirthayatra, that should be pure. That should have been earned by pure means. And Ahara, that is something which we totally ignore nowadays, particularly. We go anywhere, we eat anything, and then we think that we have gone on pilgrimage. He says that is not how a pilgrimage should be done. Ahara Shuddhi. Third is Manas Shuddhi. You go on Tirthayatra, you concentrate on this. Don't become wayward. Don't allow your mind to go here and there. The mind always goes here and there at all times. Why do you do that even there when you have gone for a specific Tirthayatra purpose? Do that properly. So he says these three are very important. Unless these three are fulfilled properly, you will not get the full benefit of Tirthayatra. He says that. Now this Ahara, now when we talk about Shaucham, Ahara Shuddhi is very important. Shastra has got number of restrictions on Ahara, on food. How food should be cooked, how food should be consumed. A lot of rules are laid down. Nowadays it has become extremely difficult even to understand what Shastra says, because we have come to such a situation that we don't know what it's all about. How food should be cooked, how the kitchen should be purified, how the fire should be lit, everything, what kind of vessels you should use. First of all, the woman of the house should have bathed before she lights up Agni. Because Agni is a Devata, and we use Agni for cooking. So you go and make coffee in the morning without taking bath. That's what we all do, isn't it? That is totally prohibited. The woman should take bath, then only light Agni in the kitchen. Kitchen is Pakashala, it's a pure place. Purity, highest purity is to be maintained in Pakashala, like Agnishala. In those days, Pakashala kitchen comes only next to Agnishala, where Agnihotram used to be done every day, or other yajnas used to be done. So, this is the kind of purity. And after preparation of the food, how the food should be served, even for serving there are rules. How it should be eaten, there are rules. How many times in a day you should eat. There are lots of rules on food. And Chandogya Upanishad, the Upanishad of Samaveda, makes an eloquent statement on this ahara. Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi, sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi. When the ahara is pure, the mind becomes, sattva means mind here. The mind becomes pure. Mind is made of ahara. We all forget it. We think we can eat anything and we call ourselves pure-minded. We are talking about purity here, isn't it? Saucham is our subject. We take any food given by anybody under any condition, and then we call ourselves pure-minded. Mind is nothing but food. Annamayam hi somya manaha, Veda says. Annamayam hi somya manaha. Annamayam hi manaha. So here also he says, ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhihi, sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi. If the mind is pure, your smriti will be pure. Smriti means the ability to recall. See, whenever we decide a particular thing, I want to decide on a particular thing, whether I should act in this way or that way. There are two choices. I have to make choice A or choice B. How do I make this choice? I depend on smriti, because my memory says, if I take option A, I am right, because I am following the tenets of Shastra. If I take option B, it is adharma. How do I know this is adharma and that is dharma? Because I know what is written in Shastra. My memory comes to my help. Not only my memory of Shastra, my memory of other people's experience, saints' experiences, my own experiences in the past, and so on. They are smriti. Smriti is a whole lot of memory. Now, that smriti will let you down because your mind has become impure. In fact, that is our own common experience. We even justify many wrong actions which we do by some manipulation of reason. By some manipulation of reason, we justify. Why do we do that? Because our smriti is impure. He says, sattva shuddhau dhruva smritihi. Your smriti will be dhruva, will be pakka, will be firm. Smriti lambhe sarva granthinam vipramokshaha. When your smriti is clear, what happens? Sarva granthinam vipramokshaha. All the bondages of your body and mind with the world are broken. All bondages are broken. You become one with Parabrahma. Look at that. We started with ahara. Now we are talking about union with Parabrahma. All the granthis are knots, because there are various knots which are binding. These knots are all ajnana. Knot is not a physical knot. Knot is in the mind, not in the heart. Now the heart becomes impure, the mind is impure because of the knot, because it is assuming mistaken identity of itself as connected with the world, connected with the body, connected with mind, and so on. Now he says, Sarva Granthinam, all kinds of knots are broken and you are free. Vipramokshaha. Tasmaya Mridita Kashayaya Tamasasparam Darshayati Bhagavan Sanat Kumaraha. This is at the close of this Chandogya Upanishad. Sanat Kumara, Bhagavan Sanat Kumara, gives this Upadesha to Narada. Narada goes and seeks Brahmajnana from him. Narada says, this is a very interesting passage in Chandogya Upanishad. Here he says, you are known for Brahmajnana, you are a known Brahmajnani, so I seek Brahmajnana from you. Now, immediately Sanat Kumara says, first of all, I want to know what you know. Then I will tell you what you don't know. Then Narada comes out with a big list. Big list. I know Vedas, I know Shastras, I know this, I know that. Big list. I know Puranas, everything I know. Okay, you know everything, but all your knowledge is useless. Sanat Kumara starts like this. You know everything, but all your knowledge is useless. Because you don't know what is to be known. Once you know that, all this is automatically known. All this kachada which you think that you have known is only kachada. This is apara. This is apara jnana. Parajnana, the superior jnana, you have not secured. Then he teaches him Brahmajnana. So goes the story. Now, towards the end of this Upadesha, he makes this statement that shows the importance of ahara. Having taught him Brahmajnana, what is called Bhuma, the world, the soul is infinite, Bhumajnana. He starts like that, and he initiates him into the Bhumajnana, and then finally he talks about Ahara. So Mridita Kashayaya, having purified him, having removed all the impurities from Narada, that is what it says, Mridita Kashayaya, Tamasa Param, he takes him beyond the shore of darkness. He was moving in the realm of darkness, he takes him beyond darkness to the realm of light. Tamasa Param Darshayati, he shows him light. Bhagavan Sanat Kumara, Tam Skandayatya Chakshate, Tam Skandayatya Chakshate. That Sanat Kumara is none other than Skanda. Upanishad says. Because Sanat Kumara is born as Subramanya, that is another story, based on the plea of Shiva. Shiva goes and pleads with Sanat Kumara. That was the greatness of Sanat Kumara. Shiva goes and pleads with Sanat Kumara, you take birth as my son. Then he agrees. That is how he becomes Skanda. That's what here it says. Tam Skandayati Achakshate, Tam Skandayati. That is Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara is the mind-born son of Brahma. Out of the four, Sanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara, he is the last of the four. Now, Manu talks about how we should purify ourselves. Jnanam tapogniraharo mridmano varyupanjanam vayu karmarkakaloche suddhe kartrinidehinam. For dehinam, he says, for any living being, these are the various means by which you can purify yourself. Jnanam, first you have to acquire knowledge. Tapas, you have to purify yourself by tapas. What is tapas? Concentrating on Bhagavan and concentrating on all the mistakes that you have committed and promising that you will not repeat those mistakes. This is tapas actually. Agni is a purifying agent, we all know it. Aharaha, we have seen just now. Mriti is soil, we talked about it. Manas is a purifying agent as well as an organ to be purified. Because unless your thoughts are pure, you cannot purify anything. And thoughts are mind. That's what he says. Mano varyupanjanam. Vari is water. We know only water so far actually in our present experience. Vayuhu, air. We are talking about so much of pollution nowadays. Karma, all the actions that you do. Before you do any action, you ask yourself whether it is a pure action or an impure action. Vayuhu, karma, arka, kala, arka is surya. Surya is a purifying agent. Kala, time. Kala, suddhe, kartrinidehinam. How kala becomes pure? Purifying agent. Now here comes the concept of ashaucham. Now, you contract what is called ashaucham, impurity, on certain occasions. When somebody is dead in our circle, your close relative is dead, you observe ashaucham for 10 days, impurity for 10 days, isn't it? The ashaucham period varies. Sometimes it is 10 days, sometimes it is 3 days, sometimes it is pakshini, 1.5 days, sometimes it is 1 day, sometimes it is only for the married woman, not for the husband, and so on. There are various rules connected with ashaucham. There is an ashaucha kanda we were talking about Vaidyanatha Dikshitiyam the other day. There is a separate, one of the 6 kandams is ashaucha kandam. So much importance given to ashaucham. When a woman is out of doors, that is also ashaucham. Now that is completely ignored these present days. When a woman is out of doors during the monthly menses condition, there is also a severe ashaucham, severe impurity. Similarly, when a child is born, people say it is vriddhi, as if it is a different ashaucham. Shastra, for your kind information, does not make any distinction between ashaucham when somebody is dead, when ashaucham when somebody is born. There is absolutely no difference. There is absolutely no difference between marana shaucham and janana shaucham. There is no difference. Janana shaucham we call vriddhi just because it is an auspicious occasion. Calling you vriddhi, there is no problem. But not observing ashaucham in a strict manner is objectionable. So, this ashaucham particularly not eating food cooked by a person who is in Ashaucham, by a woman in menses, by a family observing Ashaucham, we go and eat in their home. They are all in Ashaucham. They are all impure. How can we go and eat there? Even inside the Ashaucham family, they are not supposed to eat food prepared by a person in Ashaucham. A pure person only should prepare food. Because preparing food is a yajna, as we saw. You have to go to the Pakashala, you have to light Agni. They are all pure. How can an impure woman go and do that? So, I mean, now these things look very strange when we talk about it, but that's a fact. That's the Shastra. So, even in a family, if everybody is down with Ashaucham, you should get somebody who is pure, and that somebody only should prepare the food to be consumed by these people who are observing Ashaucham. This is the rule. Now, when that is the case, when an outsider goes and eats food served by them, that is absolutely wrong. Now, this Ashaucham we saw, Shaucham we have been seeing, purity. Now, purity, if we want to look at examples of pure-minded people, examples of purity, models of purity, then the first name that will come to anybody's mind is Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is the symbol of purity. Now, this Yaksha Prashna is one chapter in Mahabharata, which is very well known, where Sahadeva goes for fetching water from a pond. He dies because he is not able to answer a question put by Yaksha, and he refuses to answer, and he dies. Then Nakula goes, same thing happens. Then Bhima, Arjuna, everybody refuses to answer the question because they fight with the Yaksha. They think that Yaksha is unnecessarily stopping us from our right of taking water from here. Why should I answer your question? That was there. So they didn't answer the question. So they all died. Then Yudhishthira goes finally. Why 4 brothers have not come back? What is wrong? Then he goes and finds all of them are dead. He's shocked. Then he wants to take water. As soon as he touches water, then the Yaksha appears. You don't touch water, you cannot touch unless you answer my question. That is how your brothers are dead because, oh, I said so. Okay, I will answer your question. He answers all the questions. That is how the Yaksha Prashna is there. So many, more than 100 questions are asked, and they are all questions related to Dharma. It is a beautiful text of Dharma, Yaksha Prashna. A lot of questions on Dharma. He answers. One question, very nice, very interesting, is Kim Ashcharyam, he asks. What is Ashcharya in this world? What is the surprise in this world? Yudhishthira gives a beautiful answer. He says, all living beings, all humans on earth, every day pass through the experience of watching somebody die. But they all want to live forever. This is what Ashcharyam can be there greater than this. This is his reply. Look at this. Look at the sharp intellect of Yudhishthira. Every day we are watching somebody or the other die, but we don't want to think that we are also going to die, if not today, tomorrow. We don't want to think like that. We think we will be here eternally. We want to live eternally. What greater Ashcharyam can be there? Ahanyahani bhutani gachantiha yamalayam. That's how he says. Every day they say. Kimashcharyam atappara. Shesha thavara mikshanti. They want to stay here permanently. Kimashcharyam atapparam, he says. Now, I think there cannot be greater example than Yudhishthira when it comes to purity. So when he gives all the right answers, Yaksha gives him the boon. What boon you want? I will make one of your brothers alive because you have answered all my questions correctly. I am very happy. Then here comes the purity of Yudhishthira. He could have chosen Bhima, he could have chosen Arjuna because Arjuna is the most powerful of all the five Pandavas. Everyone knows that. Bhima is also equally powerful. And all the three are born of Kunti. Whereas Nakula and Sahadeva are born of Madri. What did he do? He said, you give life to either Nakula or Sahadeva. Then that Yaksha asked, why did you choose Nakula or Sahadeva? You could have chosen Arjuna or Bhima. Then he said, no, they are the sons of Madri. I am the son of Kunti. At least one son of Kunti will be alive. I want one son of Madri to be alive. This is the level of purity. He did not bother about his personal selfish, because he knows that he is going to fight the Kauravas one day or the other. He needs Arjuna and Bhima. He knows that very well. Anybody in his position would have asked for Arjuna or Bhima. He didn't do that. He asked for Nakula or Sahadeva. Then, of course, the Yaksha was, Yamadharmaraja himself had come in the form of Yaksha. He made all of them alive. That is the conclusion. So, this is the concept of. Similarly, if you go for purity of bhakti, example of pure bhakti is Kannappa Nayanar. And so on, we can see a lot of examples in Shaucham. Now, before we close, there was a request to make a reference to Mahaparival and Sridhara Ayyawal. And here in India, we are having night now. In US, it is daytime. For you, I think Amavasya has started. For us, tomorrow morning is Amavasya, Kartika Amavasya, when Ganga Karshanam took place. Now, that is Sridhara Ayyawal made Ganga come, the river Ganga come to the well inside his house. This is the greatness of tomorrow morning. That happened on a Kartika Amavasya. Because Sridhara Ayyawal, one of the trinity of the Bhajan Sampradaya, the other two being Bodhendra and Sadguru Swami. In fact, he was the contemporary of Bodhendra Swami. Bodhendra Swami was one of the Acharyas of our Kanchi Sankaramatham. Now, he was a contemporary of Bodhendra, Sridhara Ayyawal. He was a great worshipper of Shiva in Thiruvidamardur, Mahalingeshwara temple. And he was living in this Thiruvishanallur, Sridhara Ayyawal, and his name was Sridhara Venkatesha. He was known as Sridhara Ayyawal. And he, one day when he was about to perform Shraddham, he found some Harijans walking on the road and they were very hungry. They smelled the food being prepared in his home and they halted there in front of his house. It was very clear they wanted to eat. They were very hungry. So he did not care about Shastra at that point of time. He said, feeding a poor, hungry living being is more important than observing the strict rules of Shraddha at that particular point of time. So he invited the Harijans. He gave the food which was prepared for Shraddha. He gave to the Harijans. And this was observed by the Brahmanas who were supposed to come and conduct the Shraddha. They refused. You have given your. He said, no, I am purifying the house. I am purifying myself. I am purifying everything. The kitchen, the vessels. I am preparing new food. My wife is preparing new food. Everything will be new. Don't worry. They, in spite of all these offers, they refused. They said, you have done a great path, a great sin. We cannot excuse you. Then he said, what should I do for Parihara? What should I do for Parihara? Then they said, you have to go and bathe in Ganga, then only you will become pure. They knew very well there was no question of bathing in Ganga. This is happening in Thiruvishanallur, Ganga, you have to go to Kashi. In those days, going to Kashi meant travel of many months. So that means the Shraddha is gone. Shraddha day is gone. Shraddha is nashta, lost. So he was worried. Then he suddenly decided to pray to Parameshwara. What should I do? He remembered, by praying to Parameshwara, Ganga can come here. Then he prayed to Parameshwara, you bring Ganga to my well. That is the only way I can fulfill the requirement of these Brahmanas. And to the surprise of everybody in the village, on this day, Kartika Amavasya day, the well was overflowing with Ganga water. Not only it overflowed throughout his house, it overflowed through the road, went all over the other houses. The whole place was going to be inundated with Ganga water. People were worried. Now they came to him, they fell at his feet, they said, please withdraw your prayer, please make Ganga go back into your well. He sang further shlokas, praying to Shiva, asking for withdrawal of Ganga waters, and that is how Ganga waters went back to the well. Now this has been a tradition to celebrate this festival, Ganga Akarshana. Ganga Akarshana. Ganga was attracted towards the well. This tradition has been maintained for a long time in that place. And Mahaparival was very keen that this should be properly observed. This festival should be celebrated. Everyone should know this story. Everyone should know the importance of Sridhar Ayyawal. He has written a lot of beautiful works on Shiva, Shiva Bhakti. So he propagated, Mahaparival propagated. All those books were unknown to the world of devotees at that time. He got all of those books printed. He asked the scholars to propagate all the works of Sridhar Ayyawal. It was Mahaparival who brought this Ganga Krishna event to public notice. He made people visit on this day that well in Provisional. Now, of course, it has become very popular. A lot of Bhagavatas go there. They do bhajans and so on. Now it is a very popular destination on this particular day. Now, I think we have exceeded the allotted time. We close for today. We continue next Saturday and Sunday or the two balance days.
Mama, or question vandirukku. Answer pannama illa apra answer pannama?
Pannalame.
Okay. Question, I'll read it out 1 second. How, Namaskarams, can you explain more about Vriddhi and how to observe, like lighting lamp or chanting shlokams, Nevedya? Basically, the question is about do's and don'ts during Vriddhi or Asaucham period. And maybe you can even cover what are the do's and don'ts during Rajaswala Asaucham as well. Thank you, Mama.
Rajaswala Asaucham. Rajaswala Asaucham, nobody is following now. Rajaswala Asaucham, if you go as per the Shastra, the Rajaswala woman is supposed to not be in the visible horizon of the family members, number one. She should be away. And then food should be served from a distance. She should come and eat, and so on. I mean, I think there's no point in going into those rules now. Now, coming to the other Vriddhi Asaucham, it is whatever rules are applicable to Marana Asaucham, same rules apply to this. That is what I mentioned. It's very clear. No lighting of lamp, no opening the puja almirah, no offering of Nevedyam, nothing. Only Sandhya Vandanam should be done during Asaucham. That is the one and only ritual permitted, and not only permitted, it is expected, because Sandhya Vandanam is a Nitya ritual which should be performed even during Asaucham time. People think, oh, no, I am having Asaucham, I need not perform. There is an escape route for not performing Sandhya Vandanam. That is not correct. Sandhya Vandanam should be performed all the 3 times, but with restricted, there are some restrictions even in performing Sandhya Vandanam. For example, Gayatri is supposed to be, when you do give Argyam, you are supposed to mention Gayatri mentally only, and so on. You can restrict the number of Gayatris also to a lesser number. But these are not, conditions. These are there. But more important point is that all the other restrictions which we normally observe in Asaucham, that is, as I said, not eating at the hands of another Asauki, that is number one. And you can take bath, no doubt, but you can chant Bhagavan Nama. There is no bar on that. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha, Bhagavan says in Gita. So all times include the Asaucha time also. Mam anusmara. So you have to remember him. There is no question. By remembering means chanting his name. But no Vedic chanting. No, Vedic chanting is totally prohibited, other than what is covered in Sandhya Vandanam. Vedic chanting, no. Stotras, etc., you can mentally chant, not loudly. You don't keep a mic and don't conduct a class and so on. Don't do that. Just chant mentally to yourself. So everything in a low key. No Naivedyam, no puja. That is very clear. I suppose this is good enough for...
Mama, just one point, Mama. This is Vivek. Those of us people who may have a Paduka at home or a Panchayatana or a Saligramam, அந்த ஆசௌச்சம் காலத்துல வந்து ஒரு நைவேத்தியம் இல்லைன்னா அது தோஷமாகாது.
தோஷம்தான். Nothing should be done. Nothing should be done. After the Ashaucham is over, after you do Punyaha Vachanam, after you have purified yourself, you can do all that. There is no harm in not doing during that time. In fact, you should not do during that time.
Hello.
Because Paduka Puja is as good as Ishvara Puja. Ishvara Puja is prohibited, so Paduka Puja is also prohibited.
Vivek, I have one question. Hello.
Okay. Namaskaram.
நமஸ்காரம் மாமா, லலிதா முரளி பேசுறேன் ஹூஸ்டன்லேருந்து. வந்து எனக்கு இந்த விருத்தியை பற்றி சாரி ஐ டாக்ட் இன் தமிழ். I asked you about the vriddhi. This vriddhi applies to both son, the daughter-in-law delivery and daughter delivery. If daughter delivers a baby, how many days we have to observe the vriddhi? And we know the son got a baby or son, then it is 11 days punya ajana varaikkum. So I just want to make sure how many days for the girl, the daughter will deliver baby.
If the daughter delivers in the parents' home, then only there is Ashaucham. If she delivers in some other place, there is no Ashaucham for her parents. And number of days I don't remember. I will have to refer to the book. That Aprakriya book which Ramesh Swami mentioned the other day, I have written in detail about Ashaucham. There it is mentioned.
Okay. Sir, you also mentioned about the Ayyangulam and Ayyampettai. I am from Tanjavur. So I have just lived near the Ayyangulam and Ayyangadathira. Very nice. And also about the Sridhar Venkatesa. Ayyavala Patti Sonnal. And we had an opportunity to go on the Kartika Amavasya day 2 years ago, and we got the Shanam. Romba sandosham. Listening your talk and observing all the things. Thank you.
Thank you, மாமா. அதான் மாமா, இன்னைக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப நன்றி மாமா. நான் அதான் இன்னைக்கு கார்த்திகை அமாவாசை பிளஸ் அனுஷமும் சேர்ந்த புண்ணிய காலமா இருக்கிறதுனால நீங்க ஐயாவால ஸ்மரணமும் பண்ண வச்சுட்டு ரொம்ப நன்றி. I think if there are no more questions, we can probably close and next Saturday send.
Yeah, we will resume next Saturday.
மாமா நமஸ்காரம் மாமா. என் பேர் சிவகுமார் from New Jersey. உங்களோட லெக்சர்ஸ் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு மாமா. சோ இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்கா இருக்கு மாமா. நமஸ்காரம்.
Oh, thank you very much. நமஸ்காரம்.
நமஸ்காரம். நமஸ்காரம்.
நம பார்வதி பதயே ஹர ஹர மகாதேவா. சர்வத்ர கோவிந்த நாம சங்கீர்த்தனம். கோவிந்தா கோவிந்தா. ஸ்ரீ ஜெகதம்பிகாயை ஜெய ஜெயா.
நமஸ்காரம் மாமா.
நமஸ்காரம்.
Sudha and Shivakumar mama. Namaskaram.
I am not able to see anybody here. Unfortunately, I am on mobile.
Mama, ipo ungalku theriyadha mama?
1 minute.
Mama, ipo theriyadha ungalku?
They have not kept their video perhaps on. I don't know. I am not able to see anybody for that matter.
நாங்க இந்த வீடியோ ஆன்ல இருக்கு மாமா. இன்னைக்கு உங்க பிக்சர் நல்லா தெரியுது. எங்களையும் உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமே.
அவர் ஆன் போட்டுருந்தா தானே நமக்கு. அவர் ஆன் போட்டு.
Now I can see some people. Nathan, Shivakumar, Vivek.
Namaskaram mama.
Yeah.
Shivakumar mama. Namaskaram mama.
Yeah. Okay.
ரொம்ப பிரமாதமா இருக்கு.
Now I can see. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
மாமா ஒரு क्वेश्चन மாமா. நம்ம இந்து இதுல நமக்கு ஏதாவது டவுட்ஸ் வந்தா is there a site like our Hindu Vedic site that we can go to refer to our questions on various things? Any website where we can go and various doubts அந்த மாதிரி சமயத்துல நம்ம
doubts on dharma shastra. You mean doubts on dharma shastra?
Correct.
I don't think there is any such all-encompassing website. I don't think. But nowadays, Veda Dharma Shastra Paripalana Sabha is conducting what is known as Dharma Shastra Sadas. Almost every month. Almost every month, they conduct a Dharma Shastra Sadas, which goes for about 2-3 hours. And great scholars like Mullai Vasal Krishnamurti Shastri and Mani Dravid Shastri and others, they attend. They answer all the questions. So you can raise your questions at the close of that session, or in fact they invite questions even before. You can give your written questions and they will answer. That is one way of securing the answer. But for a quick, ready reference, I don't think it is available.
ஏன்னா நமக்கு நிறைய டவுட்ஸ் வருது நம்மளுடைய டே டு டே லைஃப்ல. அந்த மாதிரி நீங்க ரொம்ப அழகா நிறைய எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றீங்க மாமா. ஏதாவது சைட் இருந்தா போய் பார்க்க.
I can't hear you.
மாமா நமக்கு டவுட்ஸ் வரச்சே அதை போய் பார்க்கிறதுக்கு ஏதாவது சைட் இருந்தா நல்லா இருக்குமே. அதான் உங்களுக்கு.
That's right.
Mama, can I make a point here? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
அதான் நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி வேத தர்ம பரிபாலன சபா has been my go to place, but அங்க வந்து most of the times they are covering a lot of topics. அதுலயே நமக்கு நிறைய doubts clarify ஆயிடும். Another thing I've been able to do is probably work with Mahavidwans. அவள்கிட்ட கொஞ்சம் டவுட் கேட்டா, for example, I'm on a couple of WhatsApps. One Sundarama Vajpayee from Maha Somayaji from Sringirangam. அதே மாதிரி பரணி சாஸ்திரிகள் இருக்கார், மடத்து வாத்தியார். அது மாதிரி 2-3 வாத்தியார்களும் வாட்ஸ்அப் குரூப்ஸ் வச்சுட்டு இருக்கா, where we are able to post questions. I just wanted to put it on record.
I didn't know that answering questions on WhatsApp. I didn't know that. Okay.
அதுவும் அவர் வந்து சுந்தரம் வாஜ்பாய் ரொம்ப தெளிவா கேள்வி கேட்டா, இப்ப எனக்கு இன்னாரு ஞாத்தி இவாளுக்கு என்ன தீட்டு எவ்வளவு நாள்னா அவர் கரெக்டா பதில் சொல்றாரு சூத்திரத்தை பார்த்து. அவங்க சூத்திரம் ஆபஸ்தம்பம்னா ஆபஸ்தம்பா, போதாயனம்னா போதாயனம், கிராக்கியாயனம்னா அதுக்கு தந்தாப்படி. ஏன்னா சூத்திரங்களும் மாறுறது இல்லையா? சோ டீடைல் கொடுக்குறா. They don't just give you a canned answer.
Yeah.
And அது தவிர வேத தர்ம பரிபாலன சபா also does special sadas. அதுல பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மணி டிராவிட் சாஸ்திரிகள் இவ எல்லாரும் they take up. நீங்க ஆசௌச்ச காலத்துல நீங்க சொன்னீங்களே சந்தியாவந்தனம்னு, அந்த மாதிரி ஆசௌச்ச காலத்துல என்ன தர்மம் பண்ணனானே ஒரு சதஸ் நடந்தது. அதுல they talked exclusively சந்தியாவந்தனம் எப்படி பண்ணணும், பிராணாயாமம் எப்படி பண்ணணும், அதுக்கே நியமங்கள் ரொம்ப விசேஷமா கோட் பண்ணாங்க.
Correct.
This Veda Dharma Paripalana Sabha, do they have like a website?
Yes sir. நீங்க வந்து எனக்கு வந்து if you send me, I mean நான் உங்களுக்கு வேணா நீங்க அப்புறம் என்ன கூப்பிடுங்க. I'll send you my number. நிறைய இருக்கு. I can point you to specific references also because whatever I know a little bit is all coming from that.
விவேக் உங்க நம்பர் கொடுக்கறேன், எழுதிக்கிறேன்.
Okay, நான் அனுப்புறேன். I'll just send பண்றேன். I'll send it to you right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it on the chat.
Okay.
And actually they conduct lot of Vishesha Upanyasams. This VDSP. They conduct lot of Vishesha Upanyasams and they cover a number of subjects. Every week they cover.
எல்லாரும் ரொம்ப பெரிய ஸ்காலர்ஸ், மகா பண்டிதாஸ். அவ ஒரு வாக்கியம் சொன்னா அதுக்கு 10 பிரமாணம் இல்லாம சொல்லுவாங்க. பெரிய பண்டிதர். ஆமா. They refer to many Dharma Shastra books. Another place to go to used to be Vaidika Sri. அவர் ராஜகோபால கணமாடிகள் மாமா நிறைய பண்ணிருந்தார். இப்ப வந்து அவரோட பையன் பண்றார். அதுலயும் நிறைய விஷயம்
son is doing now.
One thing, thanks to YouTube, there has been a lot of information available, especially at the level of detail that we need.
I see. Yes.
Hello.
Great.
Hello.
நீங்க சொல்றது ரொம்ப அழகா சிம்பிளா நன்னா இருக்கு மாமா. It is so interesting and nice. நீங்க சொல்றது ரொம்ப அழகா சிம்பிளா ரொம்ப நன்னா இருக்கு மாமா. நீங்க
what did you say?
நீங்க கொடுக்கிற லெக்சர் ரொம்ப அழகா சிம்பிளா ரொம்ப அழகா இருக்கு. It flows so nicely, very simple and nice. ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு.
Okay, thank you.
மாமா தெரியுது, நான் வந்தனம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறேன்.
சொல்லுங்க.
अभिवादे वैशांतर देवराज अकुल त्रयाश्य प्रब्राह्मद विश्वामित्र गोत्रः आपस्तम सूत्रः यजुषाकाध्यायी शेषाद्रि शर्मा नामाहम अस्मि बहु.